Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are and what time it is where you're joining me from today. This is Zoliswa, and as usual, I welcome you to Speak It with Zoliswa. Today in South Africa is a celebration of a public holiday, bank holiday that we call the Freedom Day. It is sparked by the day that happened in 1994, which was the very first day where everyone who is 18 years and above as a South African citizen was allowed to vote. So it marks a day of democracy, and it's been over 20 years, a number of days since then. And this got me thinking, freedom, is it really an event or a process? And I'm actually having tea. This is how I enjoy my time. I've spoken about over 20 years from 1994 up until today in freedom. And how have we spent this time in the country is a story really that has to do with perhaps the political parties, the government, a number of other people that are involved at a macro environment space. But what got me thinking about this freedom is I may not have much of a contribution to make or a huge contribution to make. Mine may be just a drop in the ocean when it comes to the bigger picture. But I do believe very strongly that a bigger picture is made up of small particles, and I am part of those small particles. And it begins with me. It begins in my own personal life. What does freedom mean to me? When I want to reflect, I'll have my cup of tea. It's beautiful. I'm biased because I have a specific brand that I love, but I'm not going to say what it is because they don't pay me for this. But tea gives me an opportunity to reflect. So I would take a break to have a cup of tea so that I can calm my nerves, or if I've been very busy and I just need to come back to space, recuperate, recover so that I can get some energy to carry on, I would do so using a cup of tea. Also, if I want to induce certain emotions in me, I would get a cup of tea so as to make myself happier, because this is something that I love. You know, we drink, right? We drink different things. So I'm one of those people that are perhaps boring. This is what I drink when I want to feel good. So I thought of tea. Tea as in T-E-A, the alphabets that make the words that the alphabets that make the word tea. Thoughts, emotions, and actions. My actions are determined by the emotions that I feel at any given point, and emotions, as I always say, are nothing more than a collective of feelings which create a certain pattern that's going to determine how you conduct yourself or how you act in a particular way. And these emotions come as a result of the thoughts that you entertain in your mind, the thoughts that you allow to come through, because remember, they are wandering about uninvited, but those that you, when you become aware of them, you still allow them to entertain, you use your time to entertain them. Those are the thoughts that create the feelings, and the feelings will lead you to the actions that you take. So this got me thinking as I'm sipping my tea. It's beautiful. What are the thoughts that you have about freedom today? It doesn't matter where you are. You don't have to be South African. You don't have to be living in South Africa. But just because of the Freedom Day that has sparked the topic of today, freedom, if it begins with me, let me look at the different aspects of my life. And by me, I mean you, I mean him, I mean her, I mean us, because we are all connected, we are together, we are one, we are unity. So, freedom in the space of time. In this number of years that I have been alive, each of us have been given 525,600 minutes to live in a year. That is, if we live until the end of the next year, the end of the next 365 days from today, we will have been given equity when it comes to time. So, looking backwards, how have I spent my time, and reflecting on this, how would I like to spend my time going forward? Because this is one currency. It may be the only currency really that is given equitably. Do I waste my time Do I use my time wisely? Do I use my time to be in line with the objectives or the goals that I have, or the bigger dream that I have about my life in this humankind? Then it got me thinking about the things that I do to the relationship that I have with my body. I realized that the body that I have is the longest relationship that I'm ever going to have. So if I want to manifest any dream that I have in life, whether it is to be the CEO of a company and I want to carry out certain activities, I'm going to need this body. If I want to have lots of money, I'm still going to need this body to make that money, because hello, it is not all of us that are going to get it only by winning lottery. Hello, it's not going to work that way. We are required to think. And the peace of mind that I need to have comes as a result of me taking good care of my body, my mind, my entire well-being in its entirety. So I thought about this relationship and I said, what am I doing to take care of this body? Do I feed it with the right diet? Do I allow the right thoughts to go through my mind? Because that also has an effect on how this body is going to turn around. Have you ever considered how many times you would think of negative thoughts and start feeling like there is some juice or some juices that are being secreted into your stomach? Then you start feeling some ulcer of some kind. You know, I'm not a biologist, I'm not a medical practitioner, I've only studied those things so that I could pass school. But there is this positive correlation between what goes through your head or your mind, your brain, and what happens in your body. So how do you assist your body to be wellly functioning, to be to have the longevity that it can practically have if you don't die of accidents? In other words, if you live until the age of 100, would you be able to carry on with this body that you have for long without inviting those elements of diseases that could have been avoided? And I'm saying diseases for a reason, because it is the lack of ease as a result of the things that we're doing to our bodies. Then I thought about the relationships, and in the space of freedom, the relationships that I allow myself to have: one, with me; two, with the people that are closest to me, the significant other, my children, my parents, my siblings, my extended family, friends, colleagues, people that I come across, people that I work with in different spaces, in different clubs, in different social environments that I engage in. In the space of freedom, I would love to see freedom in such a way that a woman has got the equitable rights as a man. A black person has got the equitable rights as a white person. A young person has got the equitable rights as an older person. A person who is differently abled has got the equitable rights as the person who is so-called able-bodied. So those are the kinds of freedom that I would like to see when it comes to relationships, because I have a dream that one day everyone will come to a space where they live a life they love. And it begins with these thoughts that go through my mind. And when it comes to the expression of the talents that I have, career is where we spend most of our times alive. Do I love the work that I do? Am I free when it comes to the space of having to wake up in the morning to go and render services? Yes, it is for a purpose, because I want to get remuneration in return. Hey, I got bills to pay. However, the manner in which I get the money, the resources for me to pay those bills, is it in line with who I am? Is it the purpose that I would love to be doing every day if I didn't have a choice, if money was not a problem? Then I go to money itself. This is the currency of living. It becomes very difficult for many people, many of us, and I've been in that trap. I've fallen into that trap several times, where if I want to speak about money, I think people are going to think, oh no, what happened to her? Zalwane, she has fallen. No, I haven't. But I've realized that God has blessed us with wisdom, the wisdom that back in the days we used to do, our great-grandparents used to do bartering. So I would give you this cow, you would give me something that I need in such a way that I can carry on with my life. So there were exchanges, there were networkings that were happening. Right now, for me to be able to have this cup of tea, I had to buy it. And for me to be able to buy it, I needed to have money regardless of how I made the money. So money is a big part of my life. I love traveling. I want to go to a place that I feel like going to anytime. I must hop onto that plane without the restrictions of how am I going to get there. And I won't be able to do that if I don't have money. I also want freedom to be independent and do the things that I want without relying on a whole lot of other people. So solely, I should be able to think freely about the things that would make me happy and have the resources that are going to enable me to do that. So how free are you when it comes to your financial aspects of your life? And this whole financial aspect has very much to do with the time. The reason we're spending a lot of our time in the career space, working for somebody 45 hours a week for 45 years of your life so that you can get a watch at the end of the day to say thank you for your time, is because we needed the money, and we trade our time for money. Once again, there is an exchange that is happening in one way or another. So these things got me thinking. The thoughts that have been going through my mind about this whole freedom space have evoked some emotions in me. And do I feel good? Do I have a certain level of uneasiness about how I have lived my life in a space of freedom from the time that I became aware to now? And if there is any element of dissatisfaction, which should always be there, because to the extent that you are alive, your life should continue to evolve up until you can no longer take your breath. Up until the final breath, the life should be evolving in different aspects of your life. And so it got me thinking, and that emotion allowed me to start imagining, visualizing how I would like the difference to look like if things were to be as what I regard as freedom in my life. The imagination that came, or the visualization that allowed me to see these things in my mind, has given me the excitement, the fulfillment, the happiness, the peace of mind that would come with having achieved those things. And you know, when I come back out of the space of imagination to what is called reality, wake up girl, it's not happening right now, the mind is taking me back there to say, now you have to take me to the space that you have just taken me to a few minutes ago, because it was a beautiful space to be in. And if I start thinking along the lines of how good it felt to be in that space, then I allow my mind to expand. It expands in such a way that it gives me ideas of how I can get myself back there, taking baby steps. Drop in the ocean, however, it's creating a certain level of freedom. One drop of freedom, if I could put it that way, at a time in different aspects of my life. And because I know that it is sitting right there in the palm of my hand, it is a piece of work that comes from the inside out. It begins with me identifying exactly where I would like to be, and having identified where I would like to be, I then look at the gaps between where I am and where I would like to be, and I ask the universe, what can I do today with the little that I have in my proverbial hand that will lead me in the direction of where I would like to be? How it is that I cannot think positively is as a result of the diet that I feed myself with. But if I change my mind, if I change the mindset specifically, and I say the intention is to be this way, and therefore allow myself to think along the lines of this way, then I will begin to see a different reality in my life as opposed to what I've been looking at all along.